Brad Williams, Excel Prime. We want to name this worksheet and place it up here. How do we do that? We're going to use a couple of tools within Excel that allow us to incorporate the mid function, the cell function, and the find function. Over here on the far right, we're going to read this narrative that I put together. Find and place worksheet name in cell. Worksheet name, not test, worksheet name. Notice right here. Can I just go equal? Wouldn't that be simple? Come on, engineers, make it that simple for us. No, we're going to have to go right cell, file name, when cell, find cell. What? That's one way to do it. We have this other method, a lot of different ways to do this. The current worksheet name can be determined using a formula based on the cell function. The mid and find functions are used to extract only the sheet name, while the cell function retrieves both the name of the workbook and the sheet. Here's how it works. Mid, cell, file name. You have to use this parameter. Cell has a few requirements. We used address in one. Here it's file name. A1, not A1. This is just the example. Find. Here's the critical area. You see this bracket. You're going to need to make sure that is formatted correctly. Then cell file name, A1 plus 1 plus 255. Let's walk through this. The cell function retrieves the complete file name and path. Remember, returns information about a cell. Cell, file name, A1. The results look like this. Path, sheet 1, XLSM, sheet name. If this was called sheet 1, then we'd be cool. This result is passed as the text argument to the mid function by cell 1. The sheet name begins immediately following the left bracket. Remember that? The sheet name begins immediately following the left bracket. So the starting position is calculated using find. Find the bracket, cell, file name, A1 plus 1. 255 is hard-coded as the maximum number of characters to retain. They like to use that word extract, but I say keep. The number of characters we want to keep, this ensures that the entire worksheet name is retrieved, as the Excel user interface limits worksheet names to 31 characters. However, the Excel file format allows worksheet names to contain up to 255 characters. You can also use the right function instead of mid to extract the sheet name. That was this intimidating second formula. This method requires more functions, but performs identically. TEXTAFTER, you can use TEXTAFTER like this. You're going, well, what's TEXTAFTER? It's one of those deals that's available in Excel 365. Equals TEXTAFTER, TEXTAFTER. You can see even in Excel 2021, I can't access it. And you keep asking, well, Brad, where's the newer tools? Well, we're going to have to dive into 365, show those tutorials one step at a time. Anyway, back to our problem here. Mid, cell, file name, A1, find, bracket. Why are we using A1? Because we're referencing a cell. How do we break this thing down? Info type, reference, cell, etc., etc. We have to go mid, and mid is going to look for text. It has a start number of characters. Back to the beginning, right to left. Cell, what's cell going to do? Well, cell's going to find a file name, info type. Well, you hit F9, it's just go file name. And then what's the reference? A1. What's A1? It's 0. What does that tell us? Not a lot. Then go back and hit cell, which is sort of repeat, info type, file name, reference A1. Are you lost yet? You should be, because I am. So to unconfuse you, or to clarify, let's go in here. Go mid text. This is what happens with cell. D, what it's doing, it's going to go all the way back to the beginning of this thing. It's going to find this path. So if we go all the way in here, and this is something I really, 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 really just find frustrating as heck. I don't want somebody looking at the internals here. Why don't like this methodology? This is the text. The start number, F9, 106. The number of characters, 255. What am I talking about? We're looking at this entire string. Mid, believe it or not, is going to go all the way. It's going to start at 106. Whatever you need to do here, it's going to start here at 714. It's going to keep everything after that, up to 255 characters. If you want to count this thing, knock yourself out. But that's how it works. Is it pretty? No. Is it helpful? I don't know. That's how you incorporate this mid, cell, et cetera, et cetera. Now, you clearly can understand the problem here, right? If you don't know the underlying path to get to this workbook, you're going to shrug your shoulders going, Williams, what are you talking about? That's the problem here. This is not a simple and straightforward approach. It kind of sucks, in my opinion. Here, you're going to have to find the cell. In other words, you're going to have to try to determine, well, where's the starting point in this thing? Text, F9, without understanding what this bracket is down here. It's one of those, what are you talking about? My recommendation is if you intend to do something like this, you have to start with the cell. Remember I said, tear this stuff apart? You have to input cell in the file name A1 to get a starting point. I get what mid's going to do. It's going to strip away everything from the bracket plus 1 to show me whatever I want. And that is this address here. Otherwise, you're in the dark. Here is just a case of tearing this thing apart. You know, when I say keep turning over rocks if you can't figure out the answer. The solution is there. The logic is lost in the terminology. As I keep saying, this is all about practice and understanding the various functions and the rule. Remember what find is doing, locates the position. That's why we're using mid. Numbers, mid, find. Find is just going to find the number, and mid is going to grab that number. Remember what we're trying to keep. We're going to use this word extract. I think that word sucks. The way I read this is I'm using mid. I'm going to keep the number of characters. So starting from 165 to whatever the end is, up to 255 is what we're keeping. Brad Williams, Excel Prime.